Lockdowns on local campuses prompt sharper focus on safety precautions.
We haven't figured out yet how to keep our students safe.
One issue brought up in this Joseph W. Brady interview with Ryan McEachron, candidate for San Bernardino County School Board.
Today we're going to talk to a longtime friend. Ryan McEachron has been a longtime friend. Him and his family with ISU RMAC Insurance have handled our insurance for as long as I can remember. Ryan has been a public servant for as long as I can remember. I did a little research last night and kind of came up with some stats, and I think people are going to be very surprised in what Ryan has done in, I think, a relatively short period of time. He was on the Victorville City Council from 2008 to 2016. He is mayor from 2010 to 2012. He was president of Sandbag, which is a very large governmental agency that gets into transportation, which was a huge passion. He was chairman from 2015 and 16. And as I remember, Ryan, wasn't that about the time that the interchange was under construction or nearly completed?
Correct.
He was a regional council representative to SCAG from 2014 to 2016, Victorville Planning Commission from 2001 to 2008, Victorville Chamber of Commerce chairman of the board 2000-2001, and Rotary president from 2004 to 2005. So that he was not only instrumental, but I mean fought very hard for. He fought very hard to be sure that the Nisqually La Mesa interchange got built. And I remember working with him and watching the phone calls on, late Friday and Saturday night before the Victorville Council moved forward in trying to work out a deal with the town of Apple Valley and the county for the Green Tree extension. So why is that important? When I first came out here, Ryan, in 1986, my first trip was on Saturday, September 20th, 86. I was with Carl Van Berger. And we drove down Green Tree going east, and he pointed out where Yucalomo was. And he said that deal is going to be done in 5 years. Done. It's a completed deal. Really? Well, yeah. $95 million later, and with a lot of help from Ryan. So Ryan is going to be running for the San Bernardino County Superintendent of School Districts trustee for an area that is it's huge. It's I believe it's larger than even the area that the Mojave Water Agency oversees. My district at Victor Valley Community College, the district that VVC oversees is 2,000 square miles. Mine's very. Ryan's running. I am pleased to not only endorse him, but to do this video to talk about a passion he has talked to me about for the last 20 years, the importance of education, having an educated workforce, and all that kind of stuff. So, with that, Ryan, one thanks. We not only wholeheartedly endorse you, but I think you and I recognize that we have some major issues within the high desert, within your district, within the county, of a lack of educated people to go to work, and that's one of the things that we have to have. If we want to improve everybody's lifestyle, there is only one way to do it, and there's no other way to do it but education. So welcome aboard, congrats, and you've got only our support, but we really hope that I know that you'll bring the business acumen to you. I will say one thing, Terry, before I turn on over. You're running against a gentleman that's in the charter school business, and while I don't know Ken Larson very well, I know he had a hard road to on his board. But one thing I would say about the board that he is currently on was 2 years ago, it was 2021, that there was a vacancy in the district that John Pinkerton lives in down Pinion Hills. And I went down to that meeting, and I believe they gave us 30 seconds to speak in behalf of a candidate. And when I found the notes earlier this morning from Crystal in Superintendent Ted Alejandre's district, she said that their board discussed this, in a long meeting, because they felt that there would be that they would take testimony for 90 minutes of people speaking for 30 seconds. And I would say to Ken Larson, and I would say to anybody on that board, that is not only deplorable, but I couldn't even imagine making a decision like that to do that. At Victor Valley College, we allow 3 minutes, and if it's really important, we're going to extend it. We're not going to let you babble forever, but hopefully when you get on that board, you can change that, because I think that it says to the community and to people out there, you don't want to hear us. And I drove frantically to speak, and I couldn't even get out of my mouth that I was there to support John Pinkerton because of 30 seconds. So with that.
Well, thank you, Joe. I greatly appreciate the endorsement and the support. I've decided to run for this position because education is really about what our region is all about. The ability to create jobs is a huge thing, and without an educated workforce, we can't create the jobs of the future. So I have two kids in the county school system right now. I've got my daughter's a junior in high school. My son just entered high school. He's going to Excelsior Charter School here in Victorville. So, I know firsthand the struggles that students are facing in today's world. And as we are post-COVID and everything that's been going on with education from that perspective, I think we got a lot of challenges ahead of us that we're going to have to deal with in educating our children, and the workforce of tomorrow, really. So there's a real passion that I have for that, and making sure that the education's there, the social aspect is there. The social aspect has just completely gone out the door over the last couple of years because of all the distance learning and kids being at home and not having that social interaction. And that has to come back, because we know how important that is to the development of kids and the social aspect as they become adults, and how they interact with others out there in the real world. And also the safety of our children. After what happened in Uvalde, Texas, I really want to make sure that not just up here in what would be considered Area A, it's a very large area for San Bernardino County, but the entire county, that we're doing the active shooter drills in all the schools and all the districts throughout the county. In this day and age, why it would not be happening anywhere is beyond me, but it needs to be happening to ensure that should something like that, as horrible as that would be, occur here in San Bernardino County, that we're well prepared for it. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm really going to push for, and making sure that happens in San Bernardino County.
We haven't figured out yet how to keep our students safe. I mean, we saw a horrific killing here within the last couple of months when you had 20 students. What do we do to stop that? And how do we stop it?
Well, Joe, going back to kind of what I was talking about with the active shooter drills, and making sure that all of our school districts, all of our schools are prepared and going through those drills and preparing for the worst, because unfortunately it's just happening too often, too many places throughout our nation. But what can we do to prepare for it? What can we do to prevent it? And I think, all this money came out of the federal government to, upgrade our air filtration systems because of COVID. If the money that just poured out of the federal government that went into the school systems, that type of money should be going towards the safety of our children. And that's really what it comes down to. If they have the money that they can spend to upgrade air filtration systems, they have the money to spend to upgrade the security of all of our schools. And, obviously all doors should be locked. We've heard the situations where a door was left open, a door was left unlocked. Not a whole lot you can do about that. That's a human error. But as long as all of the doors are, self-locking and they stay locked, we can prevent someone from just walking in. But maybe we take it to another level. And I think that that's one of the things that I want to look at, exploring with San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. I've worked well with them in the past when I was on the city council. I look forward to working with them again in this role. But I think, the schools and the school district and the county can come together with the county sheriff's department and say, look, this is a real issue. We have to address it. And, right now I know that certain school districts and certain schools are doing the active shooter drills, but they all need to be doing it. And we need to make sure that this is a county-wide effort at looking at protecting our children, and not just an individual school district or an individual school within the county that's doing it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that we're doing it countywide, and that's really what my focus will be.
Ryan, I think that we all see that COVID changed how we do business, how teachers reacted to it, how students reacted to it. We have a lot of teachers that are getting out of the industry that we need. We're having a hard time attracting teachers because of the pay and the competitiveness. Where do you see this going, and how does that work into not necessarily your campaign, but the bigger picture of the county?
That's a very good question and a very good issue topic, something that's going to be top of mind going into this position. But my wife was a teacher for over 20 years. She's now a principal of a local elementary school here in Victorville. Her daughter, my stepdaughter, is a teacher in the system. So I kind of really know firsthand the struggles and the challenges teachers are facing today. It's going to be hard as we move forward in this atmosphere, especially post-COVID, to recruit teachers. And I think we're going to have to get creative in how we go about doing that. And figuring out ways that we can incentivize folks to go back into the teaching profession. We need the best of the best to teach our children, and for their future and our future and the future of our workforce. The education has got to be top notch, and we have to have top notch teachers to make sure that that happens. So, coming from the private sector, just like you, I want to make things happen as quickly as possible, but I know that we're going to work within the constraints of government and the school system, school district system, but hopefully I can move that along a little bit quicker to make sure that we're doing things that will attract top quality teachers to come to our county, our districts in the county, and teach our children for the future jobs that we're going to create here in the high desert.
Ron, I think that one of the challenges that I have seen as a trustee at the college, and knowing Ted Alejandro as well as I do, and I really think he is the state's best county superintendent of schools. I just don't see anybody any better. And candidly, I kind of hope someday that he maybe leaves the county and kind of takes on the state, because I think he does a great job. As I remember him telling me once, just recently, he's lost 9 superintendents in the county this year to retirement, or they just want to move on. Do you have any idea what has happened, or any comment towards that, or what do you see in the future with it?
Well, Joe, I think one of the things that, much like I was talking about with teachers, retaining and attracting top talent for superintendents is going to be a challenge that we face in the future. Some were retirements, others were because of different things going on within their specific district. Others just were probably tired because of what had gone on over the last couple of years with COVID and all the things that came along with that. School district superintendents were forced to make decisions and do things that maybe they didn't necessarily agree with, but the state said you have to do them. And so when you have situations like that, where your autonomy is taken away from you by larger governmental organizations such as the state of California, I think it can frustrate you. I know it was frustrating to local superintendents here, and some of the things that they had to do, local school boards, some of the things that they had to do. I mean, it became very controversial, as you will recall. And I think that local school districts, local superintendents need to have their autonomy to be able to do what they want to do, with the support from the county superintendent of schools, the county school board of education. So that's what I hope to provide. That's what I want to do in working with Superintendent Ted Alejandro, and making sure that we're doing everything to support them in their efforts to provide the best education for our children going forward into the future, and so that they want to be there and they don't want to retire, they don't want to leave because of onerous things that are being put upon them by the higher ups at the state level. So that's really, I think, one of the reasons you saw a lot of superintendents leave this last year.
I get it.
Conversations regarding education on the community college level, specifically Victor Valley College, on an upcoming Joseph W. Brady online report.
The board member, you represent the property owners, the taxpayers of the district.
Tom, you make not only a great question, but a great point.
Thank you for watching this program. We hope you can be with us next time around.
And I wish I could tell you what that looks like, because we are currently negotiating something right now. But until it goes through, so we're under an NDA.